Hey everyone, thanks for watching. This is James from Cook for Your Bird. Today we're going to cover an all-time favourite in our house, a favourite one of my bird, banana loaf. Banana loaf's a good one. It's kind of halfway between something sweet and something savoury. And it's kind of, what I'd say is a healthy cake. It's one of the healthier cakes, so you can get away with a lot. It's a really good house snack to have and a really good use of kind of bits and bats you'll probably have lying around in the kitchen. So to start off with, you need your overly ripe bananas. If you're like me, once a banana's gone past even the slightly speckly brown, I don't like to touch them. They give me the absolute fear. But for banana loaf, they're awesome. Yeah, if they're underripe bananas, they're kind of inedible, I think. But once they start turning, if you're not going to eat them, once they go brown like this, save them for banana loaf. The brown and squidgy the better. Although once they start to go to rot and start going mouldy, don't bother with them. But good and brown, really smelling pungent in your banana, really good to use. Okay, so banana loaf is dead quick, dead easy. Everyone reckons they've got the best banana loaf recipe out there. I've tried lots of banana loaf recipes. This recipe is probably kind of an amalgamation of things I've read over the past. But this one's quite simple, it's quick, it's easy, and it's pretty wholesome, it's not too sweet. So it's a good one to have kicking around sort of regularly. I often think that people baking cakes and stuff, you only want to do it so often. I mean, there's only so often you just want a cake kicking around because you start eating cake every day and that gets a bit much really. But banana loaf's one of those ones that you can kind of get away with, I think. And like I say, my bird loves this one. So we've got the 4 bananas. If they're small bananas, go 5. If they're massive bananas, go 3. You know, I've got a little nugget end bit here. We're going to use that as well. There we go. Look, it squidges out. So that's what you want to be, ripe and squidgy. So 4 bananas. In that, we're going to go 3 eggs. Now, again, I'm all for quality ingredients. These are quality eggs, omega-3, kind of free-range eggs. Don't go with crap eggs. They're not worth it. Okay, so in go 3 eggs. Now, this thing, mash it. Don't puree it with a food processor. It gets too smooth, releases too much liquid. You actually want this. Certain recipes, things like if you're making muffins, you actually kind of want to mix it sort of lumpy, and it really adds to the kind of texture of the cake. You don't want it overly refined. So you mash this up. So it's a kind of, without putting everybody on, it's a lumpy kind of pukey kind of consistency. But that's what you want. If you look at it and kind of think that looks gross, then it's probably about right. You don't want it all smooth. You want it lumpy and kind of gloopy. Honestly, trust me on this. I've made this a lot. I used to make this a lot in kind of chalets. No, we don't do that just yet. Everyone always loves it. So what we're going to do, now, this is where you need a food processor. You can do this by hand. My girlfriend does it by hand. If I'm away working, I always take this with me, so she has to do it by hand. Nothing wrong with doing it by hand, it just takes a bit longer. So into whatever food processor you've got goes 200 grams of flour. Okay, 200 grams of flour, and on top of that goes 160 grams of butter. Now, often with recipes, particularly bacon recipes, they talk about putting a pinch of salt in. Like, I'm a big believer in that. I think it really kind of helps your palate kind of notice the flavours better. I don't always do that. I just kind of roll with whatever butter I've got kicking around. Sometimes I have unsalted butter, depending what I'm baking or what I'm making. This happens to be salted butter, so the only difference is going to be I'm not going to put a pinch of salt in. We're just going to have this butter in here. Okay, so we're just going to roughly chunk that up. It goes into your processor. We turn it on to max. When you hear the tone going down, it's all nice and blitzed. It's all kind of what you call breadcrumbs. Okay? So we're also going to put into there. Now I've got 100 grams of sugar here. This is brown sugar. Things like, no recipe is set in stone. If you like it sweeter, you can put more sugar in. If you're kind of really trying to avoid sugar, you can take sugar out. You know, it's fine. Don't ever think recipes are set in stone, and don't ever trust a recipe. They nearly always require some degree of tweaking. So here's my sugar, so I'll mix that through as well. On top of the sugar, we're going to add what is basically 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I like loads of cinnamon, so does my girlfriend, so I'm not too fussy, I've done 2/3 there. But we're also going to add is a couple of teaspoons of baking powder. It's quite a heavy cake this, so the baking powder is kind of necessary. 1, 2. Give it a mix. Boom, down. Okay, so here we've got our kind of, it's like a sort of a breadcrumby grainy mix. So here we've got our gloop, here we've got our flour, sugar, butter, cinnamon, and it goes. Now the other thing I add is I add dates. Now what I've done here is these are 8 I've boiled, stewed. I'm going to show you a clip now on how you end up with this base, okay? Check now. Okay, so take your 100 gram of dates. We're going to take the pips out. Do that with all of them, just give them a squeeze, pull it out, doesn't matter. Just make sure you get those pips out. We're going to cover those with just a little bit of water and bring them to the boil. After about 5 minutes, most of the water will be gone. It'll be going kind of mushy. Add half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. It'll froth up. It'll just help break them down, mosh them around a little bit more, take them off the heat, and just let it sit there. And there you've got your date puree. Okay, got it? So now we've got our kind of date. It's like a kind of puree, but it's a lumpy puree. We're not going. Again, we want the texture in there. So in goes the dates. Now dates, if you didn't realise, dates are almost pure glucose. So using dates in a recipe is just like putting sort of sugar in a lot of ways. Don't think you're being all healthy putting dates in, but it is nice to think that it's a natural kind of sugar. We're not talking a refined sugar. So dates add a nice flavour and texture. So in goes the dates. So we've got date puree in there. We've got our banana egg gloop. We've got our dry mix. And again, you don't have to put dates in. Just swap the dates for sugar. It's 100 gram of dates. The recipe is on the kind of on the page, so you can kind of read all the specifics there. It's really just to show you how quick and easy the actual method is once you get everything in place. And last of all, got about, it's 100 gram of walnuts here. You don't need to kind of break these up. Don't forget when you slice a kind of banana leaf, you're going to cut through the walnuts anyway. Sometimes I like to crush them up just a little bit. But with this, just don't fuss over it too much. It really doesn't work well when you fuss over it. I've tried it being all chefy and getting all smooth and all this kind of stuff. It don't work. Rough and ready just works. Okay, so here I've got, it just looks like a kind of brownie kind of glue, but if you taste it, it tastes nice. Okay, we're going to line the loaf tin, standard loaf tin. You don't need to faff too much as well about lining loaf tins. I have one strip. You just want one strip so you can pull it off. You can always run a knife on the outside. I got a bit of butter paper here. People get so anal about stuff like this. It's simply not necessary. Like they tell you, like some cooking programs they might tell you to, but trust me, like when you're a chef and you're working somewhere and you're totally in the shit and you just need to get things done fast, you soon learn what really matters and what doesn't matter. Some things really do matter, and you know it's a tough lesson when you learn that. Other things you can totally get away with. So that, you know, that's fine, absolutely fine. So in goes the mix. You can go right to the top on this. It'll bulge over, but don't worry about it. It'll go up high. You want to do a big loaf. And as with all things like this, it will rise and it will then collapse to a small degree. But there we go. So we've got another loaf mix there. We're going to pop this in the oven. I do it at 180 for about an hour. As you start getting nearer to the hour, just keep an eye on it. And again, you know, be kind of intuitive with cooking. If you look at it and after 50 minutes, you know, it's still kind of rising, the top's going kind of blooming dark, turn the oven down. Just turn it, drop it down to 170, maybe 165, just give it long and slow. It's a big, dense kind of cake, this. If you've got an oven that's quite fierce, maybe a bit hotter, or maybe it's got hot spots, then spin it, turn it round, drop it, you know, cook it for a bit longer. It will take roughly 1 hour at 180. We'll bang this in, have a look at it now. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a go at doing it. It's super quick, super easy. And it will really become like a kind of cupboard staple. Really good to have around and a real good power snack if you like going out for a walk or you just got it from training, you just need to scoff on something straight away. It's really good. Oh, and it freezes brilliantly. If it lasts long enough to get it in the freezer, freeze some chunks. It works really well. Okay, give it a try. I hope you enjoy it. I hope this video hasn't been too tedious. I'm going to do more. Hopefully it'll get better. Thanks for watching. James, Cook Your Bird. Happy cooking.